You got this and you got that, and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
Well, if it isn't another episode of the Only Friends podcast, we're back, baby. It's a new week. The year is coming to an end, and I might have just won 1.1 last week.
You're an unbelievable human.
I'm fucking feeling good, baby. This is a new me, new
you look
week.
so bright.
You said 1.1?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
We had a good
Don't
week.
tell them.
You buying all your Bitcoin back?
Brother,
I should.
brother.
I don't know.
I should.
You
Maybe
play
wait for-
in a way where no one knows if you're actually winning or not. Last week, people knew.
Yeah.
He didn't tell you that about the 1.1 million he lost prior to that.
I got even for the last 3-4 months.
Exactly.
Something along those lines.
Feels that way. I kept seeing the numbers. I kept crunching them. Good time to have 5%.
Yeah, I got a text yesterday, and he was saying that he was asked about the stream game at his table in the main event and about me. And he replied, "Oh, he's a lucky R word." And the dealer looks at him and he goes, "You know, you're the third person to describe him with that word today.
You're doing great. This is what it takes to win.
Like, just keep going out there doing my bidding for me, boys. I appreciate you.
Keep running that racket.
Yeah, keep running that racket. We got a fun one today. We got a lot lined up. No Conrad. Conrad is MIA. He went deep in the Orleans yesterday. Did not close, unfortunately, but had a nice score there.
Okay.
He was also found playing the mystery bounty event at the Aria, where we capture a rare Connie demise.
Oh, no.
Thank you to Art the
Let's get
Woozle.
it popping. I saw
Let's get it
the girls
poppin'.
from so far away.
Hell yeah, brother.
A little live sweat. Are we all in our fold here? Oh no, you might limp. I think you might limp here.
It would be a beautiful thing, no
At this point in time, I'd like to wager all of mine and ours chips.
Yeah, our chips are going in.
Our chips is going.
What tournament is this? Oh, did you get in? Oh, you don't get them till. When do you start getting the bounties?
Right now.
Oh, no wonder you're in.
I have a big one covered, so.
Yeah. Oh, but give him the main pot.
Give it to me.
Give him them. Oh, Jack 8. You're ahead.
Let's go.
You're ahead.
Come on, give me the bounty.
Low and slow, baby.
Four ball, corner.
Four ball, come on.
Oh no.
Just make it easy,
Oh,
right?
no.
Oh no.
Oh, no. Not like this.
Oh no! How you get in so good?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Conrad was never seen or heard from again.
Nope.
That was the end of him. I think he's down there playing the final mega milestone prior to today's main event. So he's going to be in the mix, which is, it's great. It's that time of year, man. A lot of gambling taking place. Just wild. Games everywhere. I fired twice in the main event already.
You're gonna
Twice
fire
already?
a third, man.
Gonna fire a third today.
Let's go.
I'm glad I don't have to fire a third. It feels like I saved money.
Yeah.
It
You
feels
did.
like every time you don't need to play all the flights, it feels like you have a win in itself.
So this means you bag chips.
I bagged 7K
Starting stack.
over starting,
Yeah.
but I'm a weaseler.
I don't know what that means.
Like I have 20 bigs, I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, some people need to bag like a lot of chips day one, like you, and you're like, oh, I have all the chips. And then where are you day 3? Out the door.
No.
Do
If
we know
I
if the
get all the
people-
chips on day 1, I'm there day 3.
Do we know if the people that are competing against you for Player of the Year are still in?
Too early to tell.
Yeah.
It is too early, but Dylan Smith is now like clear second. I think if he cashes this and UNQ doesn't, he'll be Player of the Year because he made a deep run in the Prime.
Mm.
He got like, I want to say final 2 tables.
He did what
Oh,
you
wow.
couldn't.
He did, well, he needed to do a little bit better to beat UNQ.
Yeah, but he
But
did what you couldn't.
He's
Just
just a
say
chill
it.
guy.
Yeah, just chill guy.
He made a deep run, I didn't, yeah.
You still have this.
I still have this tournament, but, 20 bigs is 20 bigs.
Yeah,
Good meme.
tournaments are funny, man. Having had a good week, I had a
You won the Prime.
Yeah, I had a better
You won the Prime.
I basically won the Prime. I had a better outlook. You know, I was just chilling, having a good time, not putting too much pressure on myself to play perfect tournament poker.
It's the chill guy that won the Prime.
And of course, the Sun round just continues. I more than quadrupled after maxing. I had like 450K
You
going
had aces.
I did. I have aces, and there are 4 bets in front of me.
Wow.
So I got it in versus Kings and Ace Jack.
The best part about it
triple.
in tournaments is that when that happens, they're all in.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's no more money to play behind. They put it all in there.
Shockingly, no one was all in at that point, but they were both very committed.
Oh, they're committed. They're all in no matter what.
Right. So I tripled there. I ended up having like 4.5 starting stacks going into the final level. There's like 10 minutes of play left.
People there from day one are pissed at you.
Yeah, probably, but I don't know enough about MTT strat to know if this is like old me in like 2016 would have said, could have avoided this one, bro. New me that realizes like tournaments are just a luck fest says, flip away, my man. You are here to flip. There's no reason not to.
Well, there are reasons not to.
Go on.
Depending on situations. Like some spots it's okay. Other spots it feels like it's not necessarily worth it. But that's the hard part. Like your spot, you're flipping no matter what. There's other times where you don't have to be all in, I guess.
But I mean, it's like if you know that you're an equity favorite or you're getting overlaid money on the pot during the first 5 levels of the event, you're probably just in.
Yeah.
But yeah, folded to me on the button. I had like 85 bigs, 90 bigs, something like that. I opened ace king suited, small blind 3 bets. And I think I have a very clear 4 bet. Probably just a jam. I think we were like 80 effective.
85. I like click.
I clicked.
Hey man, there's some ace wheelers out there.
Yeah, I clicked.
Cat jammers.
But the 3 bet was big. I think 10 is on the big side in that formation.
Yeah, it's probably okay. 9-10.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything. It's not like I study that much. I thought 8.5 was more of the standard. But hey, I just said, you know, whatever. I'm trapping here, so I clicked, got jammed on, called, lost to queens.
Yeah, I would always be all in here.
Yeah, had 15 bigs left, and then I punted with kings, where I raised under the gun, big blind defended, came ace high, 1 blind, call, turn, check, river. He bet 6 blinds. I could probably just fold. Called it off, got punished max because that left me with 3 blinds, and then I got aces in the big.
They gave you a chance. They gave you second life.
Yeah. So I tripled there, got back up to 13, I think. Folded to me in the small. I had ace 4 off. I jam. Get called by king 8.
You're basically just playing Squid Game.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Honestly, that is what tournaments feel like to me. And that's why I feel like what I did for 3 days on that stage is impossible. And it's also why I feel like winning tournaments is impossible.
Well, in Squid Game, you are kind of incentivized to play a lot of the deck. In tournaments, not as wide.
Well, it's kind of the same, right? Like in Squid, you're encouraged to play a lot of the deck, but very, very, very cheaply. You know, you're doing a lot of limping, you're doing a lot of small betting. In tournaments, it's kind of the same thing. You know, you're just ducking in. You're like Cal, who was at my first table where you opened 100% of pots. But then anytime somebody put in a 3 bet, he was just like, here you go. I quit. Kind of the same thing with Squid until there's a jam. You know, same thing in tournaments. Like you just kind of dink and dunk until there's a jam. And then it's like, okay, we make a decision on our hand and then we roll with it.
Do the people know about
Mr. Bolto? Oh my God, I wish we had a camera on this. This is unbelievable.
We need one now.
Bolt is napping on
Try
Pip.
to get a picture of him.
It's just, it's one of the most Pip stick.
Because we got Bolto this weekend.
Pip is as uncomfortable as I was in bed because this is how Bolt sleeps. He just has to be touching you. And I mean, there was points where he was like laying across my neck. He was like snoring in my ear. I mean, just a real remarkable specimen of a dog. This is my 3-legged pup that we recently rescued. He's going to be a nice, fine addition. I now have 3.75 dogs.
Part of the crew.
Right, yeah.
3.75.
3.75 dogs.
Considering 1 newt.
Is there like a cap on the amount of dogs that you will accept?
4.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I have 3.75.
Yeah, so you need
If he had four legs,
find a one-legged dog out there to complete the.
Yeah, if he had four legs, he wouldn't have made the cut. But only having 3 legs, he's underneath the cap.
Gotcha.
One-legged dog.
Gotcha.
One-legged dog wheels.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious to me, I think. I don't know.
Andre has the opposite.
Oh yeah, he's a 5-legged dog. Big Dick Benji.
Nice.
Kids just
that was
roll
good.
into
That
the
was
streets.
That was a good one.
That was a good time.
Man.
Excellent work, Guapo. Excellent
Thanks, buddy.
work.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my weekend in a nutshell. I literally just flipped my way out of the tournament twice. It was kind of a funny story. Yesterday I maxed again. Guy just open rips 110. So I get aces the first hand, by the way. Again.
Look at them.
These little babies.
Let them go.
So yesterday I get aces very first hand. I win a pot to get myself up to 111K off of 100.
I would max every time too.
For sure. There's no way I'm wasting a second. I mean, the structure for this is amazing. Yeah, 40 bigs at max is so fucking nice. You get play, and it's like all these people that are bemoaning like
Max
you have
is
to
right
be there.
after dinner.
Yeah. Everybody's like bemoaning like, oh, you have to be there from hand 1. That's when all the bad players are there, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, and variance, like how many what do you think your big blind per hour is that you need to be there 200 big blinds effective instead of 40? Like I play cash for a living. Of course I want to be playing 200 big blinds. You're supposed to be the
guy that's saying you need to be there hand 1.
Yeah, but it's just like I would also be the guy that's saying like, okay, you have to play really fucking tight. Like when I play cash, it's because it's super splashy at depth. Nobody's splashing.
And you can rebuy and things along those lines too. In this tournament,
take on a ton of fucking variance.
It's freeze out per flight.
Freeze out per flight, which I love. I really love the structure. I know they're not going to smash any of the previous records when it comes to prize pool or anything along those lines, but I think WPT did a fantastic job with this series overall. Yeah, I mean, it's been. I'm showing up for the 3rd time for the main, so like that has to say something.
Right,
kind of speaks volumes.
Of all people.
Hey man, some pros are.
I'm trying to make it a $5 million.
Some pros aren't happy, man. They want to rebuy. They want to rebuy.
Fuck those guys.
One Sam Laskowitz.
Fuck Sam Laskowitz.
That spent more time driving to the casino than playing.
Well, play better. That's all I can say, Sam.
Man,
I flipped my way out of this.
Yeah.
Look, I flipped my way out of this tournament. The last 6 bullets I put into it over the last 3 years, and whatever, man. That's what we sign up for. Yesterday I get up to 111K. Guy just open rips 110,000 from like the low jack, which we're playing 2K big blind 2,500 big blind at this point. I look down ace king suited. We're in. Lose to 8s. It's like fuck. That's annoying. I have 1K left. I 5x or 7x. It went like limp.
100x.
I was all in with Jack 9 suited and it went like limp, jammed by the big blind. Fucking hero.
Love that guy.
Love this guy. He rips it in with deuces.
Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah.
You win that every time. So now I have 7,500, which is now 3 big blinds. Very next hand, ace 3 off. Actually not sure if this is a jam or not. You're all in.
I'm +2.
You're all in.
I rip it. We beat king, queen.
Yeah.
Now
look at that. You value jammed.
I value jammed.
You're up to
Easy
17
game.
blinds now.
No.
Or no.
I
Oh,
have
sorry.
3 blinds.
17,000.
You're
Sorry.
up to-
17,000.
A little bit more.
You're up to like 8.5. 3, 6 if you didn't cover the blinds.
Yeah, I have about 18K at this point. So, roughly 7.5 blinds.
You got a chance.
Next hand, ace deuce of clubs.
Oh, baby.
Under the gun 1.
We're all in.
We're all in. Get called by something worse.
Oh, baby.
Don't remember what it was.
Probably king jack suited or something.
Oh, man. I really don't remember. But I know I flopped 2 aces, and they were good.
That's 16.5 bigs.
Yeah. So it was exactly 17 on the dot. You're right, Landon.
There you go.
So now I have 17 bigs. I fold a hand. I get like 9 deuce off or something. And then I'm in the big blind with 6-3 suited.
We can play post.
Amnon Philippi opens. Amnon Philippi? Whatever. He opens. A little on the snug side, if I'm being honest. Folds to me. I call. Comes Jack 10 7. 2 hearts. I have clubs. Check, check. How could I get in trouble here? Turn. Offsuit 9. Check, check. How can I get in trouble here? River. Offsuit 8.
Okay.
There's 7 blinds out there. I'm all in. What can I do? What can I do?
I mean, he just has a queen, right? Like
When
enough.
he calls.
No. I mean, like enough, but like a lot of the check back range might have a queen in it too.
Double check back?
I mean,
You didn't leave a chip back?
Nah, fuck that. You know what though? You're right, Brian. You're right, Brian. I absolutely should have. I should have learned my lesson after what I had just done with 1,000.
Right.
I should have. You're right. I should have
like
left.
how much Queen X do you have?
All of it?
You don't bet that you don't bluff the turn?
No.
What do you mean?
Not on that board. I would just double delay or try to check jam.
I don't believe. This is you not in the tournament. You in the tournament is different than you sitting right here.
I strongly disagree. I'm not like double barreling him off of pairs here.
It's Jack 10. There's a one-liner.
Yeah, but like to an 8, I guess, which is fine. But
you have a lot of 8s.
I didn't bluff 6 high on the turn.
Maybe we should look at this one. Yeah, you should. Well, you shouldn't bluff the 6 high. I don't think. Maybe you can actually.
This is kind of my point, right?
Tough game.
Like, if I'd bluffed the 6 high on the turn, I would have gave up on the river because then he obviously has a lot of queens.
Does he obviously have a lot of? Well, he's a lot
If
of
he
one
calls
pairs,
the
right?
turn,
Yeah.
yeah, he has a lot of queens. He's drawing to something.
Or has a pair that check back, like second pair, right?
No, he's not gonna have ace 9 and call a bet on the turn when an 8 makes a straight.
You're supposed to bet tiny on the turn.
Sure. Look, we're not talking about the same person here, buddy. Okay, he checked back ace queen 3 times. Like you and I, we're not speaking about the same player. Like, does the machine call ace 9 on the turn? Absolutely.
Then you should bet the turn with the
Yeah, I
6-3.
probably could have considered it, but I thought I was going to face a bet because I figured whatever he delayed with is now just going to rifle it off. You know, the only thing that I think double checks back is ace king.
Well, ace queen can probably check back too.
Apparently it can. I can't believe we're fighting about this.
There's no fighting. I think you're just wrong.
You make me want to strangle you.
You speak as if you know things.
I speak as if I know old-timey reg live players.
Yes, old-timey.
Like, imagine you're playing against Tortoise.
But then why? So then
Do
why?
you think Tortoise is peeling ace 9 on the turn?
You should just bet the turn then.
I probably raise.
But like, if you're thinking that they don't call enough pairs, you should just bluff range.
I really hate when you do this, though, because my intention was to give up on the turn. I had no thought process whatsoever of stealing the pot until the fucking straight fell on the board. And at that point, it just becomes like, oh, I think he has way too much ace king and pairs that we're just trying to show down and not enough queen X. I'm all in.
But he had the queen.
He did have the queen.
Here we are.
Here we are.
It just doesn't compute if you don't think he's calling enough on the turn to not bluff the turn. That seems like a very valid statement.
Why is he? I mean, sure. But then, like, with our hand, we have no recourse on the river.
Depends what the river is.
No, it doesn't.
You can just get the turn overfold and then give up.
Right. So I'm going to use 4 of my remaining 13.5 blinds.
Who says you have to go so big?
That's
Why
not
would you
that
go half
big.
pot?
I mean,
Go tiny.
I hate
Quarter
you.
pot.
I really hate you.
Go one blind.
Yeah, go 1 blind. Get the overfold. Get the overfold for 1 blind.
You just like say things, and then like when I push back with actual logic and reasoning, you say I hate you.
Because it's not logic and reasoning. It's machine stuff.
It's not machine. You said he's not calling enough pairs. Why would you not just bluff the turn if that's what you think?
Because I don't think anything in real time with 6 high. I just don't care. I'm done with the pot. I'm not trying to win this pot with 6 high here.
Maybe
Like if I were trying to win the pot with 6 high,
did on the
sure.
river.
Well, that's different. It kind of fell pretty favorably where I don't think he'll call to chop. You know?
Yeah.
A lot of that range just becomes nothing on the end. Oh, no, I'm imbalanced. Oh, God.
Stop doing this.
Guys.
Don't do this.
Oh, no.
Don't do this.
I don't have enough queens
Don't
to
do
support
this.
my river jam.
Don't do this.
You started this. Oh, my God.
You're a nonsense. I see why people want to play with you. Keep running this racket, buddy.
Oh, man.
It's a Puerto Rican baseball team.
Oh, yeah. I knew it was a baseball team. I just didn't know where. Thank you. That makes sense.
The crabs. I'm guessing they're the crabs.
I would think this means is this Spanish for crabs? You should know, Guapo.
Santurce? I've never heard of that. No.
Interesting.
I just figured because there's 2 crabs on your.
They're definitely the crabs. Santurce may be the city. I don't know. While we're on the topic of rackets, no, that's not very fair. This isn't Ignition. But Global has rugged us here in Nevada. We're no longer eligible to play.
This feels like DraftKings all over again.
Yeah. The difference is, though, that there's legal precedence for the DraftKings. I'm not sure why Global's leaving the Nevada market.
This makes me worried about WPT Global.
Gold, you mean?
Gold, excuse me.
Yes.
Because I feel like they're sort of the same model. Is that correct? Sweepstakes meaning?
No, they're exactly the same model.
Yeah.
And yes, your point is valid because we don't know why they're choosing to pull their services from Nevada. If it's regulation based, then we're drawing dead with WPT Gold, Club WPT Gold. But I don't think that's the case. From my understanding, the only places that don't allow sites like Global to operate are ones where all online poker is illegal. So like Washington, for example, they have neither regulated nor unregulated sites. They just don't permit anything. But I do think you're right that they also don't permit DraftKings, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, what other reason would they have to pull out Nevada other than a legal issue?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess possibly some of the regulated sites like WSOP and, well, I guess it's just WSOP for now, could be applying a lot of pressure from a regulatory standpoint. But to my knowledge, they still operate in New Jersey, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. So kind of a strange, maybe it's the casinos, but I don't know why they would have any interest in getting involved in sweepstakes poker. It's not like Global's running a sweepstakes casino.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a strange one to me. Don't know anything about it. Only know that it's taking place as of April 15th next year.
Why is it always on tax day? Black Friday was on tax day.
That's a good point.
It's just like they had to pick that day to end, like the April 15th.
Feels like an attack.
Really?
Feels like an attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel like an attack.
Brutal.
Also under attack were our Steelers yesterday.
Ugh.
It was ugly.
You know what? It doesn't really matter.
I thought about that today too, and
it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, you know,
we're not getting the number 1 seed. So
we were never getting the 1,
right?
And the 2 isn't super relevant, but also not very in reach now that Buffalo beat Detroit yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So with this 3-game stretch coming up to end the season, where they play 3 of the top teams in the NFL in a 10-day span,
it's fun.
All they have to win is the Ravens game.
If they beat Baltimore next week, they win the division.
And they should rest.
That's it.
If they win that game next week, they should rest the final 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and I mean that's why Pickens didn't play this week. Obviously,
I don't think that's exclusively it. They're saying it might be a grade 2 hammy tear, like a partial tear.
They're saying, of course, they're saying they don't want the Ravens.
No. The Steelers aren't saying that.
Who's saying that?
It's the pundits.
Oh.
They're speculating that it's a grade 2 tear, which is a month out.
I only trust Adam Scheffner, nobody else.
He was the one who I'm referencing from
God damn it.
Pat McAfee today.
Damn.
But he did say that Watt is very probable to play.
I heard he's likely to play. He rolled his ankle. It didn't look like he rolled it. It looked.
I thought he tore his Achilles.
I didn't because he was grabbing his foot and not his Achilles. But I was like, I was just worried he broke his foot. But he didn't, so.
Yeah, also true. Yeah, they didn't look great yesterday, but also like without Pickens, the offense has been very much sputtering. And again, I didn't expect anything coming into yesterday's game.
Right.
I don't expect anything when Kansas City comes to town.
You know, we haven't. You probably heard that because they mentioned
it's been like 15 years since we won in Philly.
Try 70. It's been since the 1960s.
Oh, sure.
But we won't play them that often. I mean, but it was the last 10 times. We haven't won there. Like, we lost the last 10 or 11 times we played in Philly.
Tough place to play.
Yeah, it's insane.
What can you do?
What do we got here?
Oh, man, this was fucking... There was a lot of shit calls.
Yeah.
Darnell Washington just blocks him out of the end zone. So he throws 2 punches.
And yeah,
this
refs don't do anything.
Be careful here.
Right.
No, it's okay. We're going to get a double penalty here.
Yeah. How this isn't offsetting, I don't know.
He also throws a punch at Austin.
Yeah.
Then there was the slap to the head of Cam Hayward during the punt.
Yeah.
And they said it happened after the punt when you can clearly see head slap, ball comes into frame.
Right.
And that was the difference between getting an automatic first down versus having to punt and never touching the ball again for the rest of the game. But yeah, I mean,
I can't believe we punted there. That was insane.
I also thought that was ridiculous.
That was insane.
A lot of really questionable calls. There was a
down 2 scores with like
10 minutes
left to go in the game, and you're like at midfield and you punt it.
Yeah,
it was insane.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal though. The Steelers definitely were on the wrong side of a lot of the penalties. There was one interesting call too where it was 2nd and 20, or sorry, it could have been 2nd and 30 after a hold, or 3rd and
First and 30 or 2nd and 20.
And
they chose the 2nd
and they declined the penalty.
I don't like that.
Which just seems crazy to me.
Yeah.
There's no way a down is worth 10 yards.
Right. Of course not.
It just can't be. And of course, they get 19 yards on the next play.
Right.
Where it's like, I'm just guessing that your 1st and 30 package is going to do a little bit better of a job at holding them here. I digress. All is well in the Berg.
Listen, they were looking past that game. They're looking to the like. You can't tell me they weren't looking past that game. It was kind of meaningless to them. I mean, not meaningless.
No, it was meaningless. You're 100% right. Like there's only one game left on the schedule for the Steelers.
It's not meaningless because if you win that game, then you lose to if you lose to Baltimore, then like you can still win with like a Baltimore loss down the line somewhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like, but it's not meaningless, but like they were definitely looking ahead. But
that'll also be true for the final 2 games thereafter.
Yeah,
the Ravens too.
Right.
So it's like
just win next week and all's well.
We would still be in Survivor probably, which
most
is
likely.
We would be.
I think we would have taken Minnesota tonight.
You would have taken the Cardinals or the Vikings.
We almost definitely would have taken Minnesota tonight with
it's Vikings,
the Raiders quarterback being out.
It's Vikings. The Vikings are playing the Bears.
What are they down to?
Oh, wait. Who plays the Raiders tonight?
The Falcons.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
How many were they down to coming into
50 on the dot.
They're down to 50 coming into this week.
Mm-hmm.
And how many?
One person lost picking 49ers. People that keep picking 49ers, man.
Ouch.
They learn lessons.
The Niners are not good this year.
You would have taken the Vikings -7. But it's a divisional game, man. Conrad says he doesn't like divisional games.
Don't speak of the ill when they're not here.
Hey, man.
It's like such an asshole thing to say. Like, like 65% of the games on the schedule are divisional games.
Hey, man.
What are you going to do?
He doesn't like them.
Don't speak of the ill when they're not here. That's such an asshole thing to say.
I should have known, man. It was divisional games. They played tough. The Bears versus the 11-2 Vikings against the 4-9 Bears. They real played tough over there.
Yeah. I think the Bears are mounting it at this point. We would have taken the Vikes. I'm pretty confident.
At -10.5 and we lost. That's just life.
That's how everybody gets knocked out of Survivor. Mm-hmm. You get knocked out on a fucking double-digit favorite. Like every year, one of them loses, and every year, half the field goes home.
It's funny because when we were trying to project if we were going to use the Vikings or did we miss something there, we forgot that the Bears could have just gotten much, much worse.
Yeah.
And they just got much, much better.
Yeah.
The Vikings would be great this week, of course.
Yeah, it would have been a good pick. It would have been a nice hold to have for sure.
Some people still had the Ravens.
I talked to Rabinowitz. That's who they went with this week.
Oh, he still has an entry?
Yeah, he might be on Cush's team. I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
I didn't check to see if Cush is still in, but
last time I talked to him before this week, he was still in. So it's most likely he's still in.
Nobody's really been eliminated. They might chop this thing fucking 40 ways. Everybody got so good. It's only 3 or 4 weeks left after tonight.
Well, Christmas is going to be
might be a bloodbath, but now we're starting to see some teams kind of show themselves. Like Houston already clinched the South. They're probably going to rest against Baltimore. So Baltimore becomes a huge favorite. Not that anybody's really going to have them left. Pittsburgh might be a favorite at home versus KC, especially if Carson Wentz is playing.
Man.
And Seattle is almost definitely going to be a small score favorite versus the Bears.
I will say, I think that the logic of there being so many teams left makes so much sense because you can't really de-risk well if there's still 50 teams going to the next week.
Yeah, I was tempted to buy one of the teams. A guy sold at I think 25% below market value.
Wow.
Team was worth
25% below.
I think team was worth $250, and I think he sold it for $190, or he sold 90% of it for $190.
Did he have a bad setup?
No, not particularly.
He just wanted to de-risk.
It's like an annuity, you gotta.
You're trying to realize those unrealized gains.
Yeah, you got to make it attractive to the buyer.
Yeah,
he's taking a ton of fucking risk. He's doing what you can't do, which is gamble.
Right.
You're paying someone to gamble for you.
Right. And then have 10% share moving forward.
Yeah, take your check.
I'll tell you who did gamble and may have come up quite short is the WSOP. And we'll lead with this story tomorrow when we have the final totals in. But as of right this minute, or as of, I guess, pre-production, so call it 20 minutes ago, they were roughly 640 entries shy of hitting the guarantee. Now at 25K a pop, that's many millions.
What? How? Okay.
Everybody
what's
waits
number
till the last
600?
day to enter.
It's
though,
day
right?
2, Brian.
Oh, it's day 2.
What
It's
is
day
it?
2.
How many are they
Oh.
missing?
640-ish. So we're
640
talking like
You can sign up
6
on day
million?
2 though.
Yeah,
Right.
but
There's
16 big blinds.
16 million.
Oh, sorry,
It's a 25K.
What did I say? 6 million?
You said 6
How
million.
did I get to that number?
I don't know. I used a calculator.
But yeah, 16 million. 16 million.
I might need to go to the Bahamas, man.
Can we
It's
just
true.
leave
Well,
this?
it's too-
Leave the stack.
Leave
here?
It's too
now.
late. It's too late. By the
That's
time
true.
this podcast is over, re-entry is gonna be closed.
it's
It might
over.
be closed already.
That's true.
It's so-
They may have just already overlaid like 16 million. Like the funny part of this was, and I went back to rewatch the GPIs to try to find the quote. I feel like they edited it because unless my memory is like somehow off, not just my memory, but the memories of everybody else that I've spoken with that was at the GPIs. Jack made this like underhanded joke when WSOP won event of the year for the main event or something like that. He made this like little underhanded jab at WPT for missing the guarantee.
Yeah. I was gonna say, has anybody checked on Norman Chat?
To remind everybody, WPT missed the guarantee last year by I think by like 1.4 million, something along those lines. So like 140 entries, give or take. They're about to miss a 50 million guarantee by 30+%
Seems
of the
bad.
prize pool.
Oh my
Are we
God.
sure that they have counted the online bullets?
I think. I mean, I'm going off of what both the Twitter chatter and Poker News has
Okay.
updated thus far.
Yeah, because WSOP
What
has
sick value for anybody that played it though. My God.
Fuck. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking a big overlay. here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Man.
This is
you basically you're just buying in. Your stack is effectively worth like 35K.
Yeah.
More.
Way more.
Almost 40K.
Yeah.
Almost 40K right off the rip.
how do you figure this number?
Well, it's almost a 50% overlay.
You just buy it in and immediately sell it all off.
Right.
De-risk instantly.
Yeah. Just buy it in and be
Buy
like,
in, sell 95% of it.
be like, hey, there's 40% overlay here. I'm selling at 1.5.
Yeah.
What do you guys want?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like losing players could sell at markup to this
Time
event.
to start tweeting anyone in the Bahamas looking to gamble.
I'm pretty sure it's too late. I'm pretty positive because I saw Helmuth.
We should get Hicks in there.
He's not allowed. Residents can't
That's
gamble.
right. That's right. Yeah. He loves
I saw as of when we went live, Helmuth had just registered and he had 16.5 blinds. I don't think they're going to let people get in with fewer blinds than that, but I could be wrong. I mean, they're desperate. I heard that they also. We'll dig into this more. I'll find out.
A special turbo flight.
Yeah, I'll find out all the details tomorrow. But they extended registration, I guess, coming into days C and D, and they added a turbo satellite last night, maybe this morning. I don't know. I saw DePaulo want a seat in it, whatever it was. So they were trying to
Sometimes
really.
you just make money by showing up.
Yeah, they were trying to really usher people in. Like the thing that I think this demonstrates is that the Bahamas is not as convenient to get to as people believe it to be. And that is more of a hindrance.
Where are all the Svens at the Cove?
They're there. They're there, but like, Sweden's a fucking far trip.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get all the Svens, you get some of the Svens and only the ones that won packages and shit. So it's like, when you compare it to last year's WPT here, 30 million was lofty for a 10K, but also, people come to fucking Vegas in droves. And even this year, do you know how many played yesterday by chance?
620. Roughly,
Okay.
give
And
or
they had
take.
750, maybe 800-ish on day one because of all the satellite players played day one.
Ooh,
Day 1A, rather.
nice.
So roughly 1,400, let's call it, for the first 2 days. So you already have a $14 million prize pool.
And it's basically the same amount of entries in the Bahamas, right? 1,400 because if they're
Yeah.
600 off.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like they had 1,375.
Wow. Yeah, it's over, right? It says entries and players left.
No. It just keeps
Oh, it just keeps
updating.
the running Atlas
Yeah,
tab.
no.
That's fair.
But yeah, I'm not sure at what point they close reg. Anyway, So it does look like a few more have entered because that number was less when I sent the initial screen cap. But so they already have 1,400 in the the WPT. So 14 million in the prize pool.
With this flight going on, and this is a freeze out per flight. The 25K
Correct.
is not a freeze out per
Not
flight.
a freeze out per flight.
Right.
2.5x the buy-in. Probably going to get, I would assume, close to 1,000 runners today. So you're probably looking at something in the neighborhood of 24, 25 million in the prize pool. What did they guarantee last year? 40?
40.
Right. So it's like it's way down because they didn't slap the guarantee on it. It's way down because they have to chop the prize pool with the Bahamas. But only 30 million, 35 million showed up to the Bahamas.
How many entries can you get in the in Bahamas?
Unlimited.
It's unlimited.
Unlimited. It's Russell Wilson, baby.
Yeah. So anybody that's busted that maybe still there is going to try to get back in. Maybe if they weren't even planning on it, but now they will.
I mean, they'll all max.
You can buy into tournaments there with GG money.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, that makes it easier than to not bring cash with you.
But this is bad for the operators because what happens is when pros see this, they don't start day 2 and fire.
Right.
They wait until they can max.
Right.
And then they take advantage of the maximum amount of overlay possible.
Yeah.
So they're never going to hit that re-entry mark. I do like what the WPT did in being a freeze out. I think we have to kind of just be happy with a $25 million prize pool as opposed to trying to balloon it to 50, especially if this competition is going to continue to rage on.
Right.
The Bahamas are now going to have to correct. They're not going to be able to run a 50 million guarantee again, or maybe they fucking do and they figure out a year-long marketing campaign to make this thing work. In any event, at the end of the day, all of the winners are us. We get a great event in Vegas. We get a great event in the Bahamas. We have overlay in one that's massive. We have a really soft field with a ton of free money here in Vegas as well. They gave away so much fucking money this week. Like WSOP going to be giving away more than 10 million to that prize pool. WPT.
How does this look optically, do you think, when it comes to WPT scaling it back versus WSOP taking a shot?
I think because WSOP missed the guarantee by such a wide mark, WPT does not suffer. Like this is the best case scenario for WPT when it's all said and done.
Is they win and GG WSOP fails.
Right, because I think when it initially happened, we were like, oh man, this could be the ruining of WPT
because of the Triton Million and all the bigger stuff going on.
Yeah, because like if WSOP just wins this time slot, WPT is gonna have no choice but to move.
GG bought them, so I guess it is just GG, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But again, they partnered with Triton. They have the licensing rights to WSOP, and it was like if they smash this 50 million guarantee, I don't think there's any recovering. If you're WPT,
I think they're realizing that like high stakes poker is very limited to very select people.
If you recall, last year this event was a 5K.
Yeah.
So they ran the 5K 25 million. I think it was a 25 million guarantee last year.
It was.
I think I remember something like this.
Something like that, and WPT ran the 40 million. So basically the inverse of what we're seeing this year, and they hit.
They being GG.
Well, it was WSOP last year.
WSOP
Right. So they hit, and WPT missed by 1.4 million, which in hindsight is very fucking small.
Right.
It's not even rake back. It's not even full rake back to all parties involved. So at the time, that was a big W for World Series because they took a big shot running a 5K 25 million guarantee.
Yeah, and of course, they did the thing with like adding flights at the end and doing that stuff.
The online stuff.
But like, hey, I mean, you can't.
But just think how many more
operators.
people can play a 5K that could play, that, can't play a 25K. Even the 10. I wonder if they made it 50 million, 10K.
No, they would get reamed.
Yeah, but it might be similar. It might not be. It might be. Like they might have a less of an overlay.
I think you'd be wrong because people would stay in Vegas for the WPT because they think it'd be softer.
Maybe not if it's 10K 50 million guaranteed.
Yeah, I kind of feel
it'd be interesting to run that experiment.
50 million's so lofty.
That's
though,
what
man.
I'm saying, dude. 10K 50 million. They'd have to run stuff like starting last year.
But to Brian's point, they got 5,000 runners, no problem for a 5K. So why not a 10K? It seems way more probable.
Closer to the same price point.
Yeah.
Right. When you get to those 25Ks, it's like a whole nother world of people that play. Like you said,
it's too lofty.
It's a high roller at this point.
Yeah.
How many people play high rollers?
And that was the other
10K
thing.
is not a high roller anymore.
So that was the other thing is a lot of people passed on Bahamas because the entire schedule was built for high rollers.
Yeah.
They were saying that in the advertising that it's not a low stakes endeavor. You're playing high stakes poker the entire time basically.
Yeah.
Then why slap a 50
massive
million
guarantee?
Well, they just thought that more people would show up. It's that simple, right?
Hey, newsflash. Most of the community doesn't play high stakes. Shocker.
Sometimes you got to learn the hard way.
Most of the recreational community doesn't play high stakes. I kind of want to put a pin in this because
what do you consider high stakes? Is 25Ks and up?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So 10Ks.
Because there's nothing between 10 and 25. It's not like there's 15Ks.
2 years ago, the Stars 25K. What did that get? That was massive too.
Oh, PCA Bahamas.
Yeah, PCS.
PSPC.
PSPC.
I think it's possible not having it in the States had an impact as well.
About the Shoko.
Well, no, for sure did, but it also doesn't because they bring so much European traffic that wouldn't otherwise necessarily come to the States.
I think first was 5 million in PSPC because Shoko won it.
Yeah.
And I think that was the number. Nacho made FT of that too. I remember this. The misclick.
Mm-hmm. That's when we were down there. Yeah.
Yeah, when we had sponsorship.
Because I mean, you would have to look at that as kind of like a model, right? For when you're building this out, how did that do, and how can we beat that?
That's probably true.
Yeah, I would think so.
There was no guarantee.
It was 24.8 million, 3 million to first.
Right.
Oh wow. Okay.
So lofty to try to be, and Stars does a fantastic job.
It was the biggest 25K of all time.
Yeah.
By far.
For sure.
Right. So they wanted to double that.
This might have been an oversight, huh?
They wanted to double the biggest 25K of all time.
God bless. Shout out to you. Salute to you, Gigi.
Sensational.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we'll talk more about this tomorrow once we have final numbers. But
it's just all these people show up right at the end.
The early indication is that was a lot of free money that we passed on by not going. When we're talking about free money, speaking of free money,
there was money here.
There was money here. WPT gave away a $250K McLaren, $50,000 in a cash grab, and $5 million in a free roll event. I know I'm skipping around a little bit on you, Guap, but we 3 lucky people drew tickets to draw for either the McLaren or a shot at grabbing cash out of a booth. We're going to take a look at the winner here of the McLaren.
And that's 2025 McLaren GTS. One of these 3 are going to win this. 1, 2, 3. Who's going on with the McLaren GTS? How you feeling? Incredible.
You just won the 2025 McLaren GTS. How are you feeling right now?
Absolutely ecstatic, flabbergasted. That's a beautiful car, and I'm very, very excited to be standing in front of it right now.
We're at the garage.
I don't have a garage. I live in an apartment. I have a parking lot. I think this might be worth about all of the other cars in the parking lot combined, so we're going to have to figure that out.
Well, Richard, I know you're a magician. Was there any magic involved today?
I swear to you there was not. No, I take that back. There was so much magic, and all of the magic was by the WPT in making all of this happen. This has been truly a magical experience.
And where will you be driving to first, Richard?
I'm going to go surprise my girlfriend at work.
All right, well, congratulations to you.
Not a bad day at the office.
Not a bad
for
day
this.
at all. I'd be terrified to drive that thing.
Little sus of the magician wins.
Nah, I'd be all right.
You can't drive it. It costs you like $10K per drive.
10K per drive?
How does that work?
It's like driving off the lot.
Oh, right.
It instantly depreciates.
Oh, right.
I would have that fucking thing towed right to the garage that I was selling it to.
Yes, you're right.
Oh, so right in our driveway.
No, that's not true. I would spend the $10K.
Yeah.
I'm ripping that fucker around town at least once.
Man.
Pretty car.
Yeah, really nice car.
Reminds me of Entourage.
Entourage.
I don't know why. So the other 2 who had to be disappointed. I mean, you just have to want the car, right?
Yeah.
Well, considering the dollar amount of the car versus the cash booth, yes.
I wonder if he can pay the tax. I mean, not to
there has
call
to
into question the magician's
There has to be
finances,
somebody
but-
who facilitates all of that
I would
in one transaction, right?
Facilitate.
Yeah.
10% off the top?
Yeah,
I
it's
got
just
you.
They
bro.
make a little bit of money. You make a little bit of money.
You're ready to,
yeah.
Matt's
The car
ready to
goes
gamble on the
somewhere
car.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Give me the car's collateral or 10% and you got it. I'll front you the loan.
You'll drive it. You'll drive it out of the win.
Yeah.
They pushed it. You'll drive it.
So Josh Bobrowski and Rafael Orlama, they unfortunately did not win the car, but they had a chance at $50K in cash. So the way this worked was you had the option to go in the booth and in 30 seconds grab as much cash as possible, or defer to the other person and then you get what's left.
And how much is in the booth?
$50K total. What's your strat here?
I mean, you got to play to win, right? Just get in the booth.
Interesting.
I feel like you don't get to make as much money being in the booth versus outside. I feel like you're capped at like my thinking prior to seeing the results was like
it really
It's one of the things. The money goes everywhere. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's very hard to grab as much as you think it is.
you'd have to
So,
grab
like-
greater than 25K.
Right.
Yes.
Hard to do.
I will say,
Greater than half,
I
yeah.
think the strategy is to wear the baggiest hoodie that you could possibly have and
Clothes
just
has so much to do
stand
with it,
over
yeah.
top of it. Let the money just blow up. Because like if you just try to hug the
Right.
money, yeah, you're
I like Guapo's idea, just covering yourself in honey.
Yeah.
that one's good too. Like if you try to grab all the money, the problem is like 10 seconds in you can't grab anymore because you
Right.
have to hold on to
Right.
what you've secured.
Right.
I would defer.
How tall is the booth? Because you would think that a lot of it gets stuck up top too.
Well,
Is it what you can hold in your hand? Like you don't get a bag to
it's
shove
whatever
it
you
in?
can like stuff and like get a hold of. I would.
Yeah,
think.
you
stuff
have
it
to
in your
walk out.
pockets.
You have
You
to
don't
walk
do
out of
like
the
a
booth.
bag or
They
anything
do not.
like that.
No. But like big baggy hoodie, let everything
yeah.
blow up there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you start to
There's got
secure.
to be some rules, I'm sure. Otherwise, you can just like swipe.
Let's see how this goes down.
Will you go into the Club WPT Gold cash booth and grab as much money as you can? Or will you let Rafael go in and take whatever's left? What are you going to do? You're going to pass? You pass it over? Okay, all right. Rafael is going into the cash booth. 30 seconds. Let's go, Rafael. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Grab as much money as you can. You can do it. He's grabbing it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Congratulations to both of our finalists. Let's see what he's got.
Dude, they literally nailed it right down the middle.
Okay, Josh has won $25,111. It's like you guys chopped the money box here.
All right, Josh, are you happy with your decision?
I'm happy with it, I would say, given the outcome. Once I saw how many green bills in there, in 30 seconds to get 25,000 seemed like tough to do.
And Rafael, are you happy with how much you pulled?
Definitely. I mean, it could have been heartbreaking if I pulled way lower. I think I would have been a bittersweet moment, but super happy with the outcome.
And this is right before Christmas. What do you think you're going to do with the money?
Gamble.
Respect.
Salute.
Respect to that man.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing that it almost to the dollar.
Insane.
that
I
they
would have
got-
thought that the EV would be better to observe than it is to
Same.
be in the booth.
And I think it probably is.
Unless
He just outperformed, do you think?
Well, even in that demonstration, you still made an extra like $500 by watching.
Yeah.
They posted the results inversely, but Josh ended up making the extra few $100.
I think though, if I didn't know any better, like I would just talk to the guy that I'm against and just like
Just ask to chop.
yeah, just stone chop it before.
Right.
So
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you grab.
Tough to trust.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
again, it just depends on that stuff. But
If I went with that strategy, I would 100% defer then.
yeah,
Because the likelihood of him outperforming 25K going first is near zero.
and you know you're always going to pay.
Yeah, so that's actually the best way to ensure cooperation in a prisoner's dilemma is you take the highest EV decision and then you broker the deal honestly yourself.
Right.
Right? So when he goes in and he grabs like 12,000, you now are the one who's in control of ensuring that the deal goes through as previously agreed upon.
Right.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Look at that. Way to be good actors in the bad space.
I think in the bad world. That wasn't the only money given away this weekend. We have 3 big winners of events. First and foremost, the Prime played down to a win. Really was pulling for one Justin Young, who had a rough week in the cash streets in the Squid Game. He lost a little over 100K. He got even, though.
Got it right back.
In the Prime event. Unfortunately, he died 9th, losing ace-king suited to aces. It's such a brutal way to go out. It's like you can't even second-guess anything. You just got set up. The winner was Zak VanKeuren. He seems to be a personal life coach as well as a grinder. I recognize him from somewhere. I think he's a part of BitB, if I'm not mistaken. There might have been a point where he was the one that was kind of DMing everybody on Twitter, asking if they wanted a performance coach to work with. We later found out it was like a marketing AI that he had, basically like people were questioning whether or not he was legit. And a lot of people who knew him said, yes, it's just a marketing AI that kind of went rogue and started DMing everybody. We haven't dialed it all in just yet. We can tell that by Chance's tweets. Haven't really streamlined this thing yet. You know what would make you better at poker? If you were better at poker. Follow me for more tips and tricks.
You got to bring back your tip of the day.
Man, I love that.
Oh yeah, tip of the day was good.
People hated that. They hated the tip of the day. They really hated the tip of the day when I started to toe the line between trolling and actually giving good advice.
Yeah.
It was like, I can't quite tell if blockers do matter on the river or not because I don't like his tone.
You're like, got him.
And it's like, yeah, perfect.
Bring it back.
Perfect. I'm fucking doing X right.
Yeah.
So shout out to Zach. He pulled 1.162 in the Prime Championship. This was a massive turnout. They had the biggest 1D flight of all time. So massive score there. Not to be outdone, Chase Bricker came in to the final table of the $5 million free roll. Nobody at that final table had a Hendon mob over a couple 100,000 with the exception, and maybe it wasn't even the exception, our third place finisher that you were going to...
Daniel Giba.
Yeah. He was the one. So I said, isn't he the one that won all the win dailies? And you said, no, not really. But he was. He was the one that I said looked like SBF.
Yes. Right.
Which he doesn't actually.
SBF, yeah.
It doesn't actually.
It's just the hair.
The hair is a striking resemblance, but his first winner photo, I wish we could pull it back up. Just the way it was shot, the angle, the look on his face, everything else, and it was right around the time.
Shouldn't he be in jail?
It was like right around the time that that FTX went down. It was just like striking resemblance. But yeah, he was the one who like alongside Becker was just like smashing win dailies, and now he's propelled himself into a pretty good spot. I saw that Foxen and Chance were actually railing him. I think he's the digital. He does like some digital creation for chip leader coaching, if I'm not mistaken. He pulled the 200K bounty, which was the biggest mystery bounty of them all.
He did it. He KO'd first guy at FT and then did that. So like
pretty fucking strong.
If I would have theoretically had action, we'd be loving it.
Yeah, you still would have lost though.
I know.
Lost but
tiny.
Chase Bricker goes on to win the whole thing. He busted Daniel in third, and then the heads up match lasted exactly one hand. He gets ace queen versus, I can't recall the guy's name, who got second place. Actually, here, the results. Jason Christopher got second place. Also, total gangster. Somebody, I think it was Matt Kiefer, tweeted, Jason played a free roll or something along those lines to win his way in because he didn't want to do chores for his wife. And ended up just like final tabling this thing, going on to get second place. He pulled the whammy bounty.
The 0.
Which is so brutal. Luckily, it was after the 200K had been pulled. So as soon as he saw like triple zeros or whatever, he knew that he was getting nothing.
Right.
But his face and his reaction was incredible. One hand heads up, ace queen versus ace 10 for 15 bigs. Which is, I mean, it's so brutal because like he was at a 3-1 chip deficit. And the heads up match is a 3-1 chip. Like they're playing heads up for 750K. And apparently there was a no chop rule, which I don't know who can actually enforce that. Yeah. I mean, it seems pretty fucking clear to me. You guys should be working a deal out 9-handed, and if not 9, then 8. You know that phrase, there's no better time to plant a tree than 20 years ago, but the second best time to do it is now.
Yeah.
That's the way this chop should have went. Like, oh, we didn't work one out 9-handed? How about 8? Yeah. How about 7? How about 6? It's like, what are we doing here, guys? Like,
I would be looking to sell stacks so fast.
God, here we go.
You would do it too, man.
Of course, but like it's different because it's basically winner take all. So nobody wants to buy. That's why I didn't understand why you guys were so like hard on to buy this thing. He needs to win. There's no other finish. So like whether you're buying the chip leader or you're buying somebody who's 5th in chips, there's no the upside is just the discount that you get on the times that they win, which is like, you know, not a great. It's like going to the track and betting on a long odd horse. Like, yeah, it comes through some of the time, but mostly you're just paying vig.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the price that you're getting on the stack.
Anybody who's like selling, and again, like I'm not sure how ICM would value this type of stuff because it's
there's also the bounties involved and other things going on.
Well, that's just random. All you can do is just total that prize pool up and try to. But yeah, that's the other point. Like all of the distributions are so top heavy and part of the distributions are randomly weighted as far as the draw is concerned.
Well, if you think the chip leader at the point when FT started, he had like 2 point something X chip lead over everybody else. And if you imagine like there's a skill edge there as well, it's likely that he gets the bounties proportionally and wins the tournament.
I disagree.
Shocker.
Well, because everything you're saying is true in scenarios where the incentives disalign. So bounty tournaments that have high ICM pressure are very confusing to most people. So what I'm saying is when there's a lot of big bounties, but also the pay jumps are meaningful, the collusion effect of those two strategies make it very profitable for the chip leader to just kind of go ham. But in a scenario where it's basically winner take all, who's playing scared?
I mean, the people in the environment, you're banking on them having a once in a lifetime opportunity and not wanting to lose.
But that's the whole point of the structure is like not wanting to lose doesn't get you anywhere.
That's not how human psychology works.
Sure. So now we're all the way back to why I didn't bluff the turn.
Oh my God.
You see how this works, Brian?
Do whatever you want, man. I don't give a shit.
Too much for me.
You see what happens?
Yeah.
But like if you're betting on somebody to have a significant edge and people aren't putting in chips correctly, regardless of the winner take allness, like just stealing the blinds is worth a lot too.
Yeah, but you know, we're not talking about the main event final table structure where people are hundreds of blinds deep and your edge is like greatly realized. We're talking about like 20 big blind poker. We're hoping people don't fucking call off enough. It's tough.
I don't think
parlay.
I don't think it's that tough because a lot of the stuff that you have to call off that people do call off is like easy layups, and all the stuff you're making in the middle like kind of butchers you. Like if you're not jamming appropriately with the right hands and getting re-steals through and 3-bets through, I think there's more value than you think there is. But that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, I would not.
I don't know if there's a right or wrong, but like let's say you were in this spot versus like replace you with Daniel.
Okay.
Would you would sell?
Yeah.
Would you sell at a markdown, face, or markup?
I would sell at face. I would be happy to sell because I know that this is the highest variance spot. There's no flattening. Like the whole point of selling is to flatten the payouts. There's nothing flat here. Nothing is very attractive to buying here. You have to buy the winner. No matter who you buy, you have to buy the winner. If you buy the guy 5th in chips, you're not buying him at 5th place money, which is $50K. You're buying him at like 2nd place money, which is like $250K.
So you'd like, for example, out of the 9 people, you'd rather buy 5 people versus like 1 chip leader.
Absolutely, if I'm getting them at a reasonable discount. But that's not going to be the case because that's just not the way that ICM values these spots, right? So it's like there's like $2 million in the prize pool plus bounties.
We should have looked at this.
So call it like $2.5 million in the prize pool.
My homework. It sort of been a good conversation.
Sure.
Like look at the numbers.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
I mean, it's hard to evaluate how much the bounties are worth, but I mean,
it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000. There was a 200K, 100K, a 50K. So it's like there's like 2.5 million in the prize pool, and like 50% of that is accounted for by first place and the top bounty. So it's just like, you know, on average, the 5th place stack is going to be worth, you know, like somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't know, probably a quarter of the prize pool. So maybe even like let's say 20% of the prize pool,
which is
so that's gonna be worth like 400K, 500K. It's greater than 2nd place. So no matter who you buy, top to bottom, you need them to finish like 2nd or better, or you need them to finish like second or better and pull one of the big bounties. It's just really hard to make money as a buyer, I think.
So you think you probably make more money by buying like last in chips or something like that?
No, I think that's generally true in normal payouts. I think you're correct that you absolutely want to buy the chip leader, but I don't think that you can buy at a premium or even at face and expect to outperform that.
Right. So if someone
just don't win the tournament enough.
So if someone said to you, and your stock's worth 500K, hey, I will buy whatever amount at 0.9, you would say no?
I'm not sure. I mean, this is a different conversation because this is like de-risking conversation. It depends on my net worth and, a lot of things like that. Like, am I willing to gamble for that 10% discount?
So you think someone that can sell
But this is very similar to Survivor, right? It's why Survivor, when they're de-risking with 50 out, they're selling at a markdown. It's because they can't afford the gamble and the person buying can, and you need to make it attractive to the buyer. Yeah. It's still winner take all, barring a chop.
Right. Yeah, so again, I think if you were someone at FT and there was someone willing to buy at face, you should just snap take it, depending on your...
Agreed. Wholeheartedly agree.
Unless you have even if you have millions of dollars.
Yeah. I think you're probably right, and I think this just is... They should have had some shady backroom dealing going on for sure. But also it's tough because as a professional, you sit down and you see 10 guys who are dead behind the eyes, and you're just like, you know what? Maybe I'll just outlast these 3 guys who don't seem to care where they finish.
Yeah.
And then you lose a flip and you're out, and you're like, well,
God damn it.
Maybe taking Washington plus 10.5 wasn't, or minus 10.5 wasn't the best bet when I could have solidified a little.
I did get aces in against deuces, and he flopped a deuce, so maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Divisional games, man.
Divisional games,
Divisional pocket pair.
Fucking
divisional pocket pair.
They're tough.
If the pocket pair can divide by 2, you know it's coming through.
Now you understand. I like that. Final event that wrapped up yesterday was the Women's Championship event. This was a little bit over 400 runners, 90K for first. And we see that the final 9 were as follows: Shannon Fahey in 9th, Camille Brown, who she's a well-known name on the tour. She got 8th. Mikio Aoki for 7th. Krisha, can't pronounce that, for 6th. Jenny Ding, if you guys haven't noticed her, she's a local here in Vegas. She started a vlog not too long ago. Check that out. Be sure to search, I think, Jenny Poker. She got 5th, so shout out to her. Sarah Ralston got 4th. Man, why do you guys do it to me? Sinead, I think we're going to go with Sinead. Davenport, 3rd. Jana Delicera, 2nd. And Terza Sanders, 1st place for $90,432. Congratulations to all the women who made that final 9. Kind of a little bit of some chirping around this event. Maybe unnecessarily. I don't know. Obviously, I always got my beak in the water, getting a little bit wet. But my big thing of why I think I feel the need to have these conversations specifically in public is that I do think poker Twitter has a lot of power. Way more than we give it credit for when it comes to the operators, when it comes to influence, when it comes to the general tone and conversation around the community. And we've seen many examples of this. The banning of Ali, Jake, and others across the world on so many of these tours. That was definitely a byproduct of a community-wide conversation that was started on X by Foxen. We've seen a lot of cheaters otherwise outed through these new technologies and new methods with the pinhole cameras, and a lot of those conversations took place on X. Just a lot of sweeping change within the community, I feel, has been pressured by a lot of the mainstays that have a voice or a powerful voice on X having meaningful conversation, even if sometimes it gets a little bit heated back and forth. We've seen operators change rules. I know Savage is one of the easiest to work with people. He's very much of the mind of I have my own personal opinions, but collectively, whatever people want is what I will lean into. And we've seen a lot of these changes. We've seen things like people getting outed for using GTO Wizard at the table, and then there being new policy in poker rooms, such as the Win, that does not allow any of this within their tournament area. All of that is propelled through Twitter, the Vertucci scandal. All of this is outed on Twitter. The conversation begins on Twitter. It ends on Twitter. So for me personally, especially when we're doing this daily show, when I see takes that feel very pedantic, feel overly critical of operators for no good reason, I have a very hard time not stepping in. And this is maybe more of a me issue than it is an issue with the stance or anything along those lines. But when things are done in what I consider to be bad faith, it's very hard not to kind of like pipe up. So
they forced your hand.
It's not that they forced my hand. It's just that, like, let's not be Kessler, right? Let's all focus our energy on things that matter and not sit here and gripe and tear down operators based off of things that truly do not matter to anybody. And I kind of saw that sentiment getting passed across when Kathy Liebert tweeted out that she was bothered that the Ladies Championship was also on the WPT Championship, which forced women to choose which one to play. Why did WPT why did WPT schedule them on the same day? It makes no sense to me. And Victoria quote tweeted it and said, "Agree, very bad schedule for women that consider both must plays. It's only the second largest main event women event combo in the year in the US, right?" And my issue with this is very obvious, I think, to most, which is that the overlap of women that are going to fire 3 bullets into a 10K that will also play a 1K women's event is maybe 3. Like, legitimately, and I can name them. It's like Cherish, Schwan, and maybe
Victoria.
Chrissy, if she's here. No, Victoria said she doesn't play these events.
Yeah, that's right.
She literally said, I personally don't play women's events on the regular. And it's like, okay, then what are we talking about here, right? Additionally, you could play both. The likelihood that you make it through day one is very, very low. I think they played down to the money. So 90% of the field is going to be able to play 2 bullets in the WPT main event no matter what. The remaining 10% are going to get to play a final table the following day. So 9 women will not be able to play all 3 days of the WPT main event.
Right.
Doesn't seem like that big of a deal. And the conversation.
And I assume this is what WPT was thinking about when they made the schedule.
Well, I assume what WPT was thinking about when they made the schedule is, what better day to run a 2-day event than a Saturday and Sunday during the highest traffic time of the entire series?
Yeah.
That's obviously what they're thinking.
Additionally, with the free roll as well, because a lot of ladies won.
Exactly. The free roll had just wrapped. The Prime had just wrapped. The main had just started. Nobody had left town. If you did it the weekend prior, people hadn't come yet. If you do it the weekend after, people are already gone. Why on earth would you schedule it anywhere else other than that Saturday and Sunday? Especially when Sunday is literally just 9 women who made the final table. It's not like 30% of the field bags and tags, It's not like we... maybe I'm overstating this. Maybe more than just the final table made it to day 2. It might have been like 20 or 30 women, whatever. But the point is that, like, no matter what, you'll always get to fire 1 bullet if you decide to support both events. And secondarily, and this was the point that I initially had made, which I think is the strongest argument here, is that scheduling these sort of events are specifically made to cater to novice players that are looking for a comfortable environment to play in. It's not to give ambassadors a place to come and splash around in a 1K. And I understand why we want the big names in there, why we want Schwan and Maria Ho and Chrissy B and Victoria and Cherish and, all of the accomplished women in this space, why we want them to play. It gives the event a lot of credibility, and it lends, a comfortable environment. But along the same lines, like, where I'm sure a lot of women would be very happy to sit down at a table with these very accomplished women and say, like, I got to play with pro so-and-so, the same way we did when we were coming up. There's also a huge intimidation factor of that. It's like you sign up to play a soft 1K and all of a sudden you're sitting there staring at Chrissy B, who has 5 World Series bracelets at your table. And it's like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah.
Like, this is not what I'm trying to grind my way up,
Yeah.
I'm trying to find my way through these fields and give myself a chance. So I get that it cuts both ways, but I really think we got to lend a little bit of fucking grace here to the operators whenever it comes down to these scheduling things. And then the most hilarious thing of all occurs where, of course, Poker Twitter is just an episode of Curb. On one hand, we have Kathy complaining that the overlap occurs, right? And now the focal point is like, oh, well, Kathy can't play all 3 days of the WPT Championship if she chooses, which means now she's got to either skip the women's event or play the championship, whatever. And same for Victoria and a few others. I think Schwan said she opted to skip the ladies event, whatever. But then Salzburg wishes Kathy good luck, and lo and behold, she's only firing one bullet in the WPT Championship anyway. What the hell is going on here? It's like you're stirring the pot just for the sake of it, So I just don't really understand. I mean, I do. I get it. Twitter's an easy place to be an outlet to complain. And I'm sure that I've been guilty of
that is really something else.
Of rant, but it's like, come on, man, you can't make this stuff up. Like,
you can't.
And it's almost just like I imagine she just has like the devil emoji like sitting on her shoulder when she's like, I'm only playing one anyway. You know what I mean? But like,
I'm just here to stir the pot, man.
Like, no one was hurt with the scheduling of this event. If anything, the event was infinitely more successful because of exactly where it was placed in the schedule. And I guess like that's my biggest beef is, for once when they get it right, can we just applaud them for doing a good fucking job instead of complaining because there are 3 women in all of Las Vegas that could not play both? Like, the women being listed, most are in Bahamas. Maria's not here. Chrissy's not here. It's like, okay, so Schwan couldn't play both. I'm sorry to Schwan. What are we doing here? Yeah. It's like, this is...
She's busy playing Squid Game anyways.
Right. Like, this is a Kessler level complaint. There's just no getting around it. It's like, the chicken fingers are cold. It's like, well...
I like how Kessler's catching strays here.
He's so miserable.
He's Larry David.
Don't come after my boy Kessler. I got to stand up for him.
He's just Larry David equivalent,
He really is. He complained about the $5 million Freeroll payouts. It's like, don't fucking play, man. You opted in.
But he just like, he gets off on that. Like, that's his thing.
I actually don't think he gets off on it.
No,
I just
he
really
loves
think
the
he's that
complaint. No,
miserable.
he just like loves the complaint. Like, if he's not complaining about something, then he's miserable. This is probably what keeps him from being miserable.
How is he
being
not
miserable?
Self-aware of how tilting he is?
He's a legend.
All right, go on.
He's a legend.
Now Andre's going to catch strays. He's going to be like, that Andre guy was talking shit about me on the podcast.
It's like my invisible cloak. It's
Bertucci
nice.
still thinks Andre's guapo.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been going on for like 2 years.
Man.
But yeah, I mean, this is me venting. But I do think that like these conversations are obviously meant for a better form than Twitter, where you're just going back and forth. But
I feel like in the muck is more than just the poker segment.
It's supposed to be. It truly isn't supposed to be hand histories. This isn't in the muck take.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
100%. This would be like complaining that, you know what this would be like? This would be like complaining that the 25K at the the 250K at the WSOP overlapped the 5K 6 max.
Lewis, very Scarfy tweet.
Oh, that's right.
This is the Scarfy tweet.
Very Sven of you.
Very Scarfy of you.
Can't believe they overlapped the 250K with the 5. It's like, Lewis, you're the only fucking one in the 250K that's playing both. Okay, you are one of one here, my guy.
Hey, man, he got it in the comments. Twitter came after him.
Right, and that was exactly what should happen.
Right.
And it's a very reasonable take to push back on that, but you can't be as loud whenever it's a disenfranchised group in the community saying like, hey, we're getting cheated here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right, for sure.
F in the chat for Scarfy, man. He's just trying to do it all.
Shout out to Lewis.
250K and the 5K really is
Shout out to Dylan.
Nobody playing the 250K is even thinking about the 5K.
Imagine like looking at that schedule and be like, God damn it, I'm gonna miss the 5K again this year. Like, brother,
I can't believe they've done this.
They overlapped the 50K with the gladiators. These motherfuckers.
That would have been a great tweet. That would have been a great tweet from the turtle.
Can't keep getting away with this.
That would have been a great tweet from the turtle.
No, but I made that parallel. I was like, imagine that like the WSOP is trying to be considerate, and they're like, imagine putting the tweet out and being like, oh my God, I can't believe they overlapped the big one for the one drop with the little one from the one drop.
Yeah.
How are we ever going to get D-Negs to come support this 1K?
Oh my God.
It's like, you're not, and no one cares. You know, it's like, I understand that it's more impactful.
D-Negs to support the one.
Right. And it's like, I understand that it's more impactful for named pros to support women's events, but my point there is not that we shouldn't be considerate of named pros. It's that named pros aren't fucking playing these events anyway. Like, yeah, Chrissy fires the women's event at the World Series because it's a fucking bracelet event and it gets 2,000 runners, or I'm over exaggerating, obviously, but like it's the biggest women's event of the year. And, you know, there's some prestige and it's a chance for her to kind of have a victory lap too, you know, where it's like, okay, like I've gotten a lot from this community. Let me give a little back. I promise you though, if there's any fucking other event in Vegas that overlaps that women's event, she's playing the other event.
Like if there's like a 10K poker go.
Right. It's literally just, if it's super convenient, she'll come out. And at some point, that'll stop being the case. At some point, Chrissy will be so far above, and I'm not trying to like stake shame or imply any of that stuff, but it's the same way D-Negs is just above a lot of things in this community. You know, Ivy, like you're not going to catch Ivy in a 1K. Ever.
He was in a free roll for like 15 minutes.
Right, and he got paid who knows how much by WPT to show up and punt that stack off. But like under his own volition, he will never, not even under the guise of showing support, show up for an event like that unless it's a paid thing, right?
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
D-Negs is a little bit different. D-Negs is a lot more gracious when it comes to giving his time back to this kind of stuff. But even he's not going to show up.
Well, he loves it with the bracelets and all. Like, there's other incentives there too versus just the buy-in of the tournament.
Of course, but when you remove the bracelets now and you just start talking about random things that would be quote-unquote good for the community.
Like
right?
if he just showed up and played a nightly or whatever.
No, don't go so far. But like, let's say that there's a massive 1K in Vegas that
like an MSPT or something.
Yeah, but like it's specifically geared towards bringing in new players, right? Like something about the structure to it, I don't know what it is, but like it's pitched, it's marketed as this is an event for you if you're new to poker, right? Like this is your opportunity to kind of get into the space. Let's say it's $100 buy-in, no rake, right? $100 buy-in, no rake, meant to just bring in thousands of new people to the game. And somebody drops a line on D-Neg's desk and said, hey, man, if you could show up to this, it would mean the world to these thousands of players to see a man of your stature come down and play with the little guy where you started too. Nobody's more generous with the time than D-Negs, and there's no fucking way he's showing up to do that. And that's my bigger point, is that at some point...
like he'd do that under his own volition. Like he went to the college kid home game.
Yeah. Like when those opportunities arise. But like that's the bigger point, is that there will be hundreds of ladies events over the next decade or so. And with each passing year, women in the community that have made it to high stakes, that are grinding on the regular, the Chrissy B's, the Schwans, et cetera, the Maria Ho's, et cetera, are going to have less and less and less time for these events. And that's okay. The events are not for them. That's the biggest point here, you know? So it's not a scheduling conflict when you run an open event that's 10x the buy-in.
Are you sure Chrissy's not in the tournament director's ear saying, hey, I need a nice soft spot to make some money in a 1K.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this on the schedule for me, not during the main, though. I need to play both.
Yeah. I need that 50K boost to my bankroll.
5,000% ROI.
Right. It's like, and if you care that much about like making an impact on the field, drop a stack, go say hi to everybody, punt off your 1,100, and then go reg the main. You know, it's like, I just... The disalignment with the messaging and the actions to me is very bothersome. Like Victoria did nothing to support this event, but she's complaining about the scheduling aspect of it, which affected exactly no one except for her and Schwan, maybe, right?
And Kathy, who only played one bullet.
Kathy played the women's event. She had no intentions of firing 3 into the main. Schwan and Victoria did not play the women's event, and I would assume at least one of them, if not both, had no intentions of playing it to begin with. So it's like, what are we doing here? We're just wagging our fingers or waving our fist at clouds for the sake of it. It's like they did a fucking great job. This was the smartest scheduling thing that they did through the entire of all the events. This is the one that nailed it. There's no better placed event than the women's championship event on Saturday and Sunday. Period. There's no event that will get a better turnout based off of where it was placed. I'm very strong on that.
A lot of good things happened by design to make it a bigger event than they thought it could
Of course. You allow the weekend warriors to show up, lose exactly 0 hours of work time.
Don't remind me about weekend warriors, please.
Down bad.
I take it everybody in this room lost.
I won.
I lost, but I don't care. I'm sitting atop the mountain, baby.
Did Platt win?
I don't know.
He took the Bengals -5, I think. He won.
I just keep taking these goddamn same game parlays, like all on the Steelers.
Learn your lesson.
No, never. I'm gonna die on this hill.
You are gonna die on this hill. You will be
I
punished.
literally am dying right now.
All right. Let's all go die together. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Only Friends. We're going to be coming to you with an In the Muck 100%. I'm making time to get to it tomorrow. I know Guapo is side-eyeing me right now. Can't believe what I've done to him. But we will have it In the Muck tomorrow. I can assure you that. If you guys haven't already, be sure to go check out our Discord channel, submit your own. This will be a user submission tomorrow, so we're looking forward to it. We're going to be coming with overlay talk from WSOP tomorrow. Day 2 of the WPT main event will be going on. Hopefully, myself and Landon will both be in it, but Landon for sure is in. We'll see. Maybe Connie too. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to go Max Late Reg now. That's going to do it for us. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we'll see you all tomorrow.
Peace.
Peace.